Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Eric Coleman with IIST and I'll be the moderator for today's webinar, Software Testing and Quality Certifications, Facts and Fictions by Dr. Hanna. We're excited you're able to join us today. Set aside an hour to attend this webinar. This webinar is sponsored by IIST, the leaders in education-based certifications and training. For more information on how IIST can help you or your organization, please visit testinginstitute.com. This webinar is one of a series of free webinars offered by IIST. Be sure to join us for the next webinar in the series, Testing as a Second Language, Back to the Basics by Dr. Hanna, on February 17th from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. To learn more about this and other webinars in the series, go to testinginstitute.com. You may submit your questions at any time by using your question box in your GoToWebinar window. Today's presenter will answer as many questions within the time allowed at the end of today's session. This webinar is being recorded and will be made available for viewing in 48 hours at testinginstitute.com. At the end of today's webinar, you'll be asked to complete a short survey. At IIST, we strive to provide the highest quality educational resources for the public and would appreciate it if you could take a few minutes to complete this short survey. I will now turn the webinar over to today's presenter, Dr. Hanna. Dr. Hanna?
Yes, thank you, Eric. Thank you. Well, good morning or good afternoon, everyone, depending on your time zone. I'm happy to spend the next hour or so with you to open the discussion about this issue of certifications, more specifically in software testing and the quality certifications. And I have to make sure that this presentation does not come across as self-promoting, because you can easily see that I am chairing and I'm the CEO of the International Institute for Software Testing, which is an organization that's specialized in software testing certifications since 1999. But really, my purpose today is not as much to tell you, come and take our certifications, but rather to help you make a good choice of what kind of certification you want to pursue. So we will talk together about the different certifications, the different approaches to certifications. Certainly, I'm going to spend some time talk about the IIST certifications, but I will also talk about other certifications. Again, the purpose is for all of us to kind of open our eyes to what's there and what's valuable, what's not, and I need to make sure that I do not speak any down at any one of the certifications, because other certifications are run by very respectable people that I have good relationship with, and I have no intention of saying anything to ruin our business relationship. All what you're going to see today are really facts and fictions, as we say it. To start, some of you already know me, some of you don't. I can see out of all the people who signed up for the webinar, over 170 people. There's a number of them who have not taken any webinars from IIST, have not taken anything at all from IIST, so you probably do not know me. Here is something brief about me. Of course, I'm all my professional life I've been an educator. I've worked for a number of years as a professor of software engineering at the University of St. Thomas in Minnesota. I started the International Institute for Software Testing back in 1999, and the mission was mainly, you can read it in our mission statement, is to disseminate disciplined approaches to software testing. At the time when I worked for the university, I had also the privilege to do a lot of consulting with major companies as well as government organizations. And I kind of was very concerned about the way we do testing in these places. So I came back and was hoping or made an attempt to start a program to certify people in software testing at the University of St. Thomas. For some reasons, I could not get it to go, so I decided to start IIST as an organization that focused mainly on teaching people how to do testing right. And since then, until now, we now have 12 different types of certifications. Let me share with you what I'm planning to share with you today. By the way, as Eric said, you can always post your questions anytime during the webinar by clicking on the, I believe you have the questions button available to you, or the questions tab. You can write your questions. I will peek into the questions. But at the same time, if you like to make a comment, if you like to kind of object on anything I am saying, or if you'd like even to challenge me in anything I'm saying, feel free to do so. And I will be very honest in sharing your opinion and your comment with everyone else. Because, as I said, we would like this to be more of an open discussion, of course, limited by the fact that it is a one-way webinar. But let's try our best to make it a two-way webinar. You can give me your comments. You can give me your feedback as I'm talking. So here's what I'm planning to cover today. And of course, if you have any questions about something that I'm not covering here, please feel free to ask it, and I will address your question. All right. But really, what's most important for me is the first three bullets, in which I'm going to talk about why should we be certified, or should we even be certified? What are the values for certification? Why would people be certified? What are we looking for? Also, I want to talk about the different approaches to certifications. So let's start with this essential question: why should software professionals in general, quality or testing or otherwise, be certified? Or should they even be certified? So I'm going to open the floor here to get some feedback from you, and I ask you to click on the questions tab and write to me any sentence, any phrase that describes why have you decided to be certified, or if you have not decided to be certified, why would you want to be certified? What are you actually looking for? What are you trying to achieve? Honestly, I need your honest opinion, because anything in life we do, it has to have a reason. And as you can probably imagine, I'm just talking here while you are providing your feedback or your comments. If we do not have a reason of why you want to be certified, that's going to be a problem. If you don't have a reason of why you're doing any specific thing in general, that's a problem. So I ask all of us to step back and say, why do I want to be certified anyway? I got some few answers here. I am looking for much more. Someone says the certification is required by my employer. That's interesting. I wonder, what is the employer trying to achieve by asking people to be certified? Some people saying marketplace skills, some other people saying standardized approach to testing that is widely recognized. That's a good one, actually. There are someone else who says there are employers that will not consider candidates that do not have certifications, and I have a word for those employers, because you do not want to be unfair to yourself and unfair to people. I'm speaking now to hiring managers, and get hung up on a specific certification without knowing if that certification even has a value or not. And someone else saying, I think it shows how serious I am as a testing professional and how much effort I have put into my professional growth. That's also a good one. I'm not mentioning names here, just to be safe here. Someone else says, I have 20 years of experience in software quality assurance, and I believe certification will assist in securing career growth and achieving financial rewards. Okay, that is good. That's simply saying, even if I know what I'm doing, even if I know how to do a good job, I think if I get certified, people will look at me differently. Someone else says, initially to get a job. Now I I get a year-end bonus if I'm certified. Well, I'm glad that employers are giving bonus for those who are certified. And as we heard from someone else, yes, because being certified means that you are serious about your profession. All these are good answers, and I'm glad we're all kind of venting and sharing these things. Someone else says to match the predetermined standard. Well, guess what? I have bad news for you. We don't have such a thing called the predetermined standard. Software testing, like many things in software, is not really has not been standardized as a field. Okay, I would like to be certified in order to have a deeper understanding in software testing. I like that one because that's really getting certified for the right reason. Someone else says, I wanted to perform at the highest level in my current position at QA. That's also another one. Of course, you've got to make sure that whatever certification you're pursuing is actually going to help you perform at the highest level in your current position and hopefully also in some future positions. Randy is not giving me a reason. He says, presently I am a senior QA technical lead. Well, that's great. But you're not telling me if you wish to be certified, why would you be certified, should you be certified or not. Someone will say, I'd like certifications to help demonstrate not only my ability to learn, but more importantly, my desire to learn and further my skills. That's actually very great, except you have to make sure that the certification you are pursuing is actually helping you learn. All right, we're going to get into that discussion. There's a lot of good stuff here. It's a way to determine your knowledge, to demonstrate your knowledge. Just showing people that you actually, in fact, know things. Right. Another one, getting certification will improve my chance to pursue a lead or a manager position. Of course, I understand because your employer looks at the certification before they promote people and before they give people a raise or, before they move people up in the ladder, they look at certifications. And it shows also I am serious about it. Someone else says, I am very new in this field and I feel that getting a certification on testing tools puts me on a better job security. And I will have to agree with you. If you get certified in specific tools, you should be able to put in your resume that you know these tools, and hopefully those hiring managers who are looking for those skills will hire you. Okay, I can go on and on, few more here. Someone says, to me, certification will give me an opportunity to dig deep into software testing. I love that one. Dig deep into software testing. And another one, David says, expand my scope of knowledge. I'm going to read that. Of knowing what testing is besides what my 15 years have shown me. David, I congratulate you on that one because one of the things I always believed in is that learning on the job is one thing. But going beyond what you learn on the job and explore and broaden the scope of your knowledge outside learning on the job is a great thing, is the greatest thing, in fact, we can do to ourselves and to our organizations. I meet many managers who kind of close their eyes and think that learning on the job is all that a person needs in order to become a good professional. Well, let me share with you what, in my opinion, and I'm willing to accept any comments and any challenges from you. Here's what I think. And some of these things have been said by you, so I'm not going to try to exclude the ones you already mentioned. So to gain education to help you do a better job, we've heard this more than one time from the feedback we received. Now, gaining new skills is different from gaining education, because skills are the ones that are going to prepare you for new positions, new responsibilities, new role. For example, you're doing manual testing now. If you get certified and you understand more and more about test automation, you can potentially move to test automation. If you start, if you get certified in, say, mobile testing or agile testing, you can see the world around you are moving to mobile and Internet of Things and mobile testing. And if you have not gained those kind of skills, who knows what's going to happen 5 years from now, or even 3 years from now. So getting certified in a specific field to give you the opportunity to explore new roles and new responsibilities in those emerging fields. Of course, we all, as we've said, as we've seen this from many people, we want to contribute in a very positive way to the organization. Let me go back here. I don't know why. Some people have hard time with this last one, or actually with the one before, to improve the image and boost the credibility of test profession, with the test profession in their organization. Anyone having a problem with that? I get some people sometimes says, no, actually the image of software testing in my organization is great. People respect us. People look at us very favorably. Managers appreciate what we're doing. Developers are really looking at us that we are very intelligent people, and we know what we're doing, and so on. Well, that might be true in some organizations, but let me tell you my experience working with different QA groups around the world, that this is not what I'm hearing. I've even had a discussion with some directors and VPs who are asking me, how do we get our developers to treat our developers better than that? How do I improve the image of testers and the QA people in my organization? I'm not going to generalize here, but it is my opinion, it is my experience that the test profession is not looked at very favorably as the way we would like it to be. And that is demonstrated by many ways. We don't get paid as much as developers get paid, and I don't know why. And that was actually my answer to this VP one time who said, you know, somehow QA people are treated differently in this organization. I said, why is that? He said, I don't know. I want you to help me improve that. I said, do you pay your QA people and your developers on the same scale? And he looked at me and said, of course not. And I say, you seem to be very sure. And why? Of course not. The answer was weird. He said, because software developers are kind of software engineers. So that's why their pay rank is different from software testers. And right away, being an engineer myself by profession, because I had a degree in software engineering and I worked as an engineer for a number of years, and I said, what made software developers engineer or software engineers? He said, that's what we call them here. I said, that's fine. Then call your QA people test engineers. If the word engineer, if people are getting hung up on the word engineer, although I'm very well aware that in some states have prohibited people from using the word engineer unless you are actually a graduate of an engineering school. Remember, I spent about 13, 14 years teaching in a software engineering program. So people graduating from that program at the University of St. Thomas had a master's in software engineering. And informally, we called them software engineers, but really, by all means, they're not, because the word engineer is reserved for those who graduate from an engineering school. So we still have a long way to go to improve the image of testing and QA profession in our organization. Now, in order to do this, we're not going to do this simply by getting certified, okay? Because getting certified in many organizations and having that acronym after our name, whatever the acronym is, and having that piece of paper that we put it in a frame and put in our office does not do the trick, does not. Why? Because unless I know what I'm doing and unless I actually have improved a lot as a result of that certification, people will not pay attention to that certification, and I might be actually doing harm to the organization. I get hurt so much when some of the hiring managers, and I speak with those every day, tell me that we hire the people who are certified and unfortunately they don't even know how to write test cases. I get hurt so much when I hear that. And I cannot blame those people. I cannot blame the certification program. I'm just wondering, why do we get certified, and why you want to carry that acronym if that acronym is not going to make a difference in the way we perform in our organizations? All right, so let me give you some few facts, and again, as I said, I am willing to hear some disagreement from you, and I will be peeking to your comments here as I present those. I think we can all agree, maybe some of us will agree, that the value of any given certification, whatever it is, it depends on how it helps you achieve all these goals I mentioned in the previous slide. Okay, if a certification does not help me do this, then there is no value to it. If a certification does not help me improve the way I do my job and helps me develop new skills that I can, remember, I keep saying, using the word skills, not giving me a piece of paper that I can go and put an acronym after my name and I put it on my LinkedIn profile and say I am a mobile tester certified or certified mobile tester. Because you could be a certified mobile tester and you cannot really start even thinking about any strategy to test mobile applications. So the skills is a key here. So that's my first effect. I will go in a little bit look at your questions to see if anyone has a comment on that. In my opinion, because I hear this about too many managers, learning on the job is very important and it has its value, and we all learn on the job. But as we heard from David, I believe, we need to continuously go out and seek best practices. And where are we going to get those best practices? Not from Hanna, not from anybody, from a collection of people. We have to find where those best practices are. And as I said earlier, unfortunately, the test profession has not been standardized. So it's not like, of course, some people say, well, how come? I mean, the IIIE has a lot of standards about software testing. Well, I don't want to comment on that, but certainly you can go and get an IIIE standard on how to write test plans and how to write whatever, and it's just not going to help you find the best practices. There's a big difference between standardization or standards and best practices. And in my experience, being a member, an active member of one of the standard committees of the ANSI, the American National Standard Institute, I can tell you there is a big difference between writing standards and developing standards and between the best practices. And for some reason, I found out that most standards out there do not actually deploy or use best practices. They use the things that they believe everyone should be doing, whether it's a good practice or not. So standardizations and the standards are a different thing. But really what we're looking for are best practices. Now, I'm very strong about this one because I don't know how we can even claim that we have a profession called testing and QA without having that profession being supported by education. There is no colleges or universities out there who would give you a degree in software testing. Okay? There might be colleges that are giving you a program, a certificate program. But we must say that the software testing and the QA profession has not been served very well by education. For some reason, we do not educate ourselves in software testing. Sometimes when I do my live seminars, I ask people, I said, when would be the last time, when was the last time you actually read a book in software testing? And I get 1 or 2 people out of 100 people. Although I'm going to come back here and say really reading a book is one thing, but learning a skill is a different thing. So let me go to this one here. That's actually the next one. Books are out there. In fact, there are books in software testing. Some of them are great books. Some of them are not so great. And they're sitting there for years. And people don't read them. And when they go and read them, it doesn't help them. I mean, some of the books written by some of the best people out in the field, you read them and maybe you'll enjoy them, but you will not see the link and the connection between what you're reading and the real life you're using. Even when you read a book called Testing in Real Life, I'm sorry, I don't even know. I think there is a book with that title, and I'm not referring to that book specifically. But people use the word real life in book titles just to grab your attention, okay? Whether they say testing in real life or real life experience or whatever it is, I will consider it real life experience if the author actually is writing a book based on his or her own experience running projects and working on projects and giving me what happened and what did not happen and what worked and what did not work. I will consider this to be a good book. I have not seen this yet. And again, I will ask you if someone has read a book about real life experience. Please go ahead, share it with me. I will share it with everyone else. So, but even if you like a book, you read it. That's one thing. But gaining skills to solve a problem and to deal with a real life issue is something else. It does not come by reading a book, and it does not come by reading any piece of literature, but it comes with some level of education. All right? Now, I'm shifting to those certifications that have what we call exam preparation courses. Almost every certification out there gives you a course. I mean, the course is optional. You don't have to take the course. But there are courses out there, whether it is the IIST QB certifications or QI certifications or PMI certifications, whatever it is. There is a course taught by someone that helps you prepare for the exam. I have seen all those courses. I have went through all those courses. In fact, in the older days, we thought we can offer some of those courses at IIST, and I completely refused to offer any of those courses. Why? Because the focus is on passing the exam. Of course, one more time, I do not want to generalize, because some of those courses, few of them, are taught by very reputable people and people I know personally, and they're great people, and you will learn from them. You will learn from those people beyond passing the exam. But don't be so attracted to a course or a course provider that will guarantee you by taking the course you will pass the exam. Especially if those courses in the course material you have a lot of sample exams. I laugh, and at the same time I feel sad when I say when I see some of those exams for some of those certifications are floating on the internet. When I see someone saying, do this and we'll send you 10 samples of the exam. Register for this course and we'll send you 10 samples of exam. What is this doing for us? Let me tell you something important. When I was in college a long time ago in Egypt, I was in a college to get a degree in petroleum engineering. Okay, and I learned a lot about oil and petroleum engineering. I was more specifically in refinery, so I work with refining plants. There was one course that this professor gave us, if I remember correctly, 500 questions and answers. That professor was teaching the lectures, yes, but everyone focused on the 500 questions and answers. And he said, if you understand those, you'll get an A in my course. I'll tell you this. This is the only course in my college years that I got a C in. Why? Because I tried to memorize the answers to the questions, because I knew that the test is going to have about 20 or 30 of those. I did not understand a thing. Okay, and it is in a field in petroleum refinery that I know nothing about at this point. Just want to give you a real example here. When you focus so much on questions and the answers, that's what you get. You don't get really anything more than questions and answers. I'm not generalizing, and I am not saying that all exam preparation courses are like that. As I said earlier, some of these courses are taught by very good people. You learn from those people. However, let me qualify my comment here. Those same great people that I know very well, and I have known them very well, when they teach an exam preparation course, unfortunately, their focus is on allowing you to pass the exam and helping you to pass the exam, because if you take their course and you don't pass the exam, the reputation is ruined and people are not going to take the course from them anymore. So if Magdi Hanna gives you a course and does everything he could to help you become a good test professional, but does not really focus so much on passing the exam, guess what? Many people will not even care about what they learned, and the only thing that people remember is that I took his course twice and I failed the exam. So please, let's get this exam thing out of the equation. I know every certification has an exam, but there are different ways by which you pass the certification without focusing so much in the exam. That's why I'm going to go to my next fact and my last fact here, and I'm going to emphasize this very well. Passing an exam by itself does not improve your skills. You can go ahead and pass as many exams as you want and ask yourself the next day, have I become a better professional by passing this exam or as a result of passing this exam? And the answer is obvious. No, you have not. Okay? So if I'm hiring a manager and I know someone has been certified and I know that he took an exam, he passed the exam, as some of you said, yes, I might think that this person is in fact serious about his job, because at the very least he decided to go through the process of taking an exam, passing an exam. But let's assume that I have someone who's working for me today, and tomorrow he goes or she goes and say, I'm applying to be certified with this certification, and they go and pass the exam. What matters for me as a manager, have they become a better professional? Have they gained more skills based on that exam? I'm also saying this to our hiring managers and managers who promote people, because I know many people are being hurt in corporate America because some people are promoted because they took an exam and passed the exam, and the other people who have experience, who know much more than those who passed the exam. So people who pass the exam get promoted, and the people who did not pass the exam do not get promoted. If there is a test lead position that's open there, as many of you said, managers will blindly look at those who got the certification. Although they might know for sure that all what this certification is, it's passing an exam. Well, at least be fair to those who did not take the exam and ask them to go and take the exam. Or at least create some situation that you put the two people in the same place, in the same situation, and see who is going to perform better. So yes, you're right. I am asking managers to put more weight on experience than putting weight on a certification that's all what it is really passing an exam. Especially if many of those exams, I'm going to say many, if not all of them, are multiple choice exams. And we have decided as an educator long time ago when I worked at the university and when I worked at the institute with the advisory board of the institute, we have decided that multiple choice questions do not measure skills, do not measure anything. All right, so because in real life, we never get into a multiple choice situation. We get into a situation where there is a problem we need to solve. And unless you have that problem solving skills, you have done nothing. That's why most of the exams, of course, at IIST are more of an open book exams where you are actually presented with a problem you're supposed to solve, and you're supposed to be able to consult any material in your hand, whether it is a course material or any other material, because that's the way it is in real life, not multiple choice. All right. Let me now peek to see if I have received any objections or any feedback on my facts. Joshua is asking, isn't testing one facet of QA? Should I get into this or not? Well, if I have to give a quick answer to this question, Joshua, testing is different from QA. If we want to use the word QA in the right sense, in the way it is defined by the CMMI, by the IIIE, by everyone, QA is not about testing. Let me very quick give you the difference. I can see Randy down there saying QA and QC are two different things. Thank you, Randy. Randy is right. So let me very quick. Testing is QC, quality control, not QA. Many of you know that already. Oh, Randy, come on. Randy's coming back to say, you first become a tester, then you grow into QA. Well, let's leave this for now, Randy. I don't know if that I would agree with you 100%. I already agreed with you that QC is different from QA. Let me say QC is about finding problems in a product. That's really what it is. That's what Dr. Edward Deming said. It's taking a product, inspecting it, testing it, doing whatever you want to do with it to find problems in it. And when you find those problems, you fix those problems in the product, so you perfect the product. On the other hand, QA, quality assurance, is focusing on the process that we used to create a product. So it is not looking for defects or problems in a product. It is actually looking at a process, looking for problems and defects and flaws in the process. Because as Dr. Edward Deming taught us, he said, if we focus on the process, and we remove all the flaws in a process that has been used to produce a product, then most likely a product that has been produced by that process will be much better. Then we actually potentially, hopefully, we don't have much of QC in order to to find bugs in a product, okay? So really QA in our world means that someone has the skills to look at a number of processes, to look at the development process, to look at the requirement process, to look at the unit testing process, to look at the testing process itself, and make sure that we have good practices in these processes. And when you have good practices, you have good processes, you use those processes to produce a software product. That software product is going to most likely have much less defects than those other products that were produced by a bad process. Let me share some of the comments here. All right, Randy, I hope by what I just said, I corrected some of your things you said. QA is, someone says QA is proactive versus QC is reactive. Well, you know what? I think I can agree with you in the sense that, yes, QA is proactive in the sense that we go ahead and look at how we are doing things, how we're building things. Most of the problems we find in software are, for example, are because of the fact that our requirement process or our user story process or the way we deal with our user stories is not good. We don't spend enough time analyzing a user story. We don't spend enough time asking the right questions about a requirement. We don't do a good job in building test cases. Many of the bugs, let me tell you this, and I know it's going to shock you, many of the bugs we find in software products through a QC process, a testing process, many of those bugs are because of what? Or because of our test design process is flawed. Because we don't have a good process to design tests. I'm speaking about this from an angle where, because I teach people how to design tests. And when I ask people, says, how do you design tests? People look at me and says, I write my test script. I said, that's not designing tests. Someone says, I write my test cases. I said, this is not designing tests. Do you have a process? Do you have a method by which you can design tests? I'm sorry, I'm shifting from certification to QA versus QC, but let me agree with Marcelo when he says QA is a proactive versus QC is reactive. That's true. I'm reading a little bit longer comment from Jita. All right, thank you so much for this. I'm going to just give you this comment quick. Jita says, I had the same feeling when I got my master's degree. I just basically got a degree, but I did not know that many things. I can admit I was learning last exam few years ago just to pass it. That's what we get when we focus on exams. Let me move forward, please. So hopefully I cleared some of the confusion between QA and the QC. I have a lot of more comments here. Wow, okay. How about this? I see my time, we're only 15 minutes left, and let me continue with the material and then come back and see if I can respond to some of those comments. All right. So I'm going to give you some ideas here of how to evaluate a certification program. The first thing you want to look at is the body of knowledge of that certification. Now remember now, we're evaluating a certification to see if it's going to help us achieve the objectives and the goals that we talked about. So does the body of knowledge I'm going to learn line up with my professional goals? If it doesn't, why should I even waste the time to study it? And the professional goals I'm talking about here. Okay, do I want to become an agile tester? Do I want to gain more skills on how to design agile, for example, how to design tests in an agile project? Do I want to become skilled on how to manage testing in an agile project? Do I want to know how to run a mobile testing lab? Do I want to become a good test person who knows how to design tests in general and learn test to design methodologies and techniques that can help me improve? So look at the body of knowledge, because the body of knowledge is published. It's not a secret. And evaluate it from that angle. And see how much you're going to learn through the process. Learning is the key here that you're looking at, all right? And see if that knowledge that you're going to be learning and gaining from that field, from that body of knowledge, how valuable it is for employers, current and the future. Because if you don't think your employer is going to value this knowledge, then don't waste your time. I understand sometimes employers value the piece of paper more than anything else, but that's not always true. Because when I publish things on LinkedIn, and you can see all my posts on LinkedIn, a lot of managers tell me that no, I don't look for the paper, for the piece of paper, and I don't look at the acronym after the name. I don't look at the certification. I look at experience and knowledge. Okay. I think, in my opinion, this last one is the most critical one. Whom am I going to learn from? Why should you spend days and weeks to listen to me? Why should you spend the weeks to listen to me if you're not convinced that you can learn from me? The experience of the instructor who's teaching a course is everything, in my opinion. Why am I saying that? Because most of those exam preparation courses are actually what we call in our business, in the training business, canned courses. A course in a can, that you give the can to an instructor who knows how to stand in front of people, and he or she open the can and teach the course. Let me assure you that more than 90% of those courses are not written by the people who are teaching them. They are standard courses. They are written to help people pass the exam. And some of the people, again, one more time, please understand, I am not generalizing. I keep repeating. Some courses are taught by great people, and when you take a course by one of those great people, you will learn from those great people. But many of those courses are canned courses. They're taught by people who did not write the course. You know, all my life in education, I wondered, how would someone take a course material that he or she did not actually write and start teaching it? One thing I want to tell you, at IIST, all course material are written by their own instructors. I get a lot of people approaching me and says, I want to be able to teach. I want to teach for IIST. I say, okay, good. What course can you teach? And they give me 10 courses, because they're thinking that I'm giving them a course of material to teach. And they're saying to themselves, well, if I get the course of material, I can go through it. I'm sure I can say something about each one of the slides. But then I turn around and say, okay, I'd like to see a course outline from you. You tell me what you'd like to teach in that course. And then they get shocked. They say, oh, don't you already have the course of material? I said, no, we don't. We have people teaching the courses that they wrote. So that's why I don't get too many people who are capable of teaching. I don't hire people to teach who just want to teach. I hire experts in the field and the practitioners who have done it for so many years and come and says, I want to teach a course on this. I say, give me the course outline. I look at the course outline. If I sense that there is good substance there, I say, go ahead, write the course material, send it to me. Because I know when this person stands there to teach, he or she will really reflect on their experience. Few more things to look for, and that's more specifically on the preparation course side. Don't waste your time with exam preparation course that does not relate to your job. No. Now, if you remember the days when you got a degree in college, there was some core courses that you had to take. And there's also some elective courses, I think, in colleges. Sometimes we call them general education. Some other colleges give them different name, but those are the things that you choose, your own. You choose. Okay. My daughter is doing a degree in biochemistry, and I was pleased to see that she selected to take a course on logic, computer logic. Why is she doing that? I encourage her, of course, to do that. Why? Because it's gonna develop certain skills for her very different, very different from what she would learn in biochemistry, and will make her a person who's very good at analyzing things. So what I'm referring here to is how flexible the body of knowledge is to allow you to select different things. Most of the certifications from IIST, if you look at them, they have certain courses and certain body of knowledge you have to satisfy, and there is another areas that we call them elective areas. If you look, for example, as the test automation certification, we don't say here is the body of knowledge that you must study. The advisory board from the beginning refused that approach. Why? Because they strongly believed that every one of us work in an environment that's different from other environment. So we have a minimal set of courses you must take to be to gain the essential body of knowledge of that certification. Then you have other courses that are elective. And in some cases, we tell you, here are 15 or 20 other courses you can select from. And in some other cases, when the specific certification is much broader, we say, select any course. Select any course. So in all our certifications like that, the electives are there. And that's powerful, because you get someone who's getting to be certified a test manager, for example. And there are certain courses that they have to take to become a test manager. But then they have 2 or 3 courses that are elective. And you might very well get a test manager saying, you know what, I want to take a course on data quality. And I want to work on, see how I can make sure that the data, the test database in our organization is high quality. Why she's doing this? Because she does not see someone else in her organization who knows that. And some people say, I want to get a course on requirements, or maybe in user stories, because I've known requirements for years, but I don't think I've taken a formal course on user stories, for example. So does user story have to do much with a test manager's role? Yes and no. It depends on your role. So that's important here. All right. One more. And the advancing in the career here is very important. One certification by itself is not going to do anything for you, but you've got to be able to see you can actually advance in the career by taking one certification, then building on top of that by another certification, and so on. I'll explain to you what I mean by that in a little bit. But let me share with you that there are 2 main approaches to software certifications. One of them is what we refer to as exam-based certifications, where you either go and do your self-study, get books, get a body of knowledge to study. You might optionally take a course that we call the prep courses. And organizations like UI, the Quality Assurance Institute, the IIST-QB, the American Society for Quality, and even the PMI in the project management world. The PMI is an exam-based certification to become a certified project management professional, a PMP. It is also exam-based. Now, did I say exam-based certifications are very bad? No. I say you got to be careful when you take those certifications. Now, the other approach is what we refer to as education-based. And that's when, again, as I said, we focused on education from the beginning, and that's when you have a course, when you have a course of study that you learn by an instructor-led training. There's no such thing that reading a book will give you the skills. So you have to have workshops that help you to get hands-on experience, okay? I get very pleased when I look at the course material by our instructors. They put you right there in a situation that you could have been in. I mean, I've seen feedback from people saying, my God, if I took this course 2 years ago, when I started our first Agile program, we would not have been in such a bad shape. Why? Because the course has put the person in an Agile project and said, here's what you're going to need to do, and here is how you handle each situation, and so on. So I don't want to stop. I want to stop kind of bragging about our courses, but education is very important. Okay, the exams are very critical. I mean, multiple choice exam is not going to help you learn anything. I have seen people who are learning from the exams at IIST more than anything else. When I was teaching at the University of St. Thomas years ago, guess what? My exam was a take-home exam, and I have given it to the people on the first day of the semester. It was like almost a 60-page exam, and I said, this is the exam you're supposed to write it by the end of the semester. So from now on, we're going to be working. Someone says, oh, so you're giving them an exam preparation course. No. I'm letting them know that the range of problems they're going to have to solve in this exam. And I'm preparing them as we go. Okay? From all the things they learn, they go back in the last 2 weeks of the semester and they write the exam. And I know a lot of people reported to me at the time that they learned it from working on this exam because they're all real projects. Now, let me very quick here, because I have about 4 minutes left, to share with you the different certifications from International Institute for Software Testing. I know, remember, I know I'm going to receive some feedback. Some people are going to say, well, he just tried to market the certifications from IIST. No, this is just a piece of knowledge for you. This is for your information to tell you that as of today, International Institute for Software Testing has 12 certifications. And they are grouped, like the first line here is what we call general testing certifications. It's called Certified Tester Professional. We have associate level, we have practitioner level, and we have master level. Now you go to the second line, we have 2 certifications here in Agile. Certified Agile Software Tester Professional has associate level and master level. I'm sorry, this is wrong right here. Forgive me, typo. It's supposed to be practitioner level. Practitioner level and master level. My gosh, don't know how we did that. So we don't have an associate level in the Agile certification. The associate level on certification is only in the general testing certification here, Certified Software Tester Professional Associate level. This is supposed to be practitioner level and master level. Now, the mobile testing certification is only 1 level, Certified Mobile Software Test Professional. All right, and then we move to the test management certifications down here, which are which start with the Certified Software Test Lead and Software Test Manager practitioner level and Certified Software Test Manager master level. And then you move to the automation certification, Certified Software Test Automation, Certified Software Test Automation Specialist, and the architect, 2 levels. The last certification here is called Certified Software Quality Manager, and it is standalone by itself. It's a huge certification. That's the highest level of certification you can get, because that makes you the kind of person who can gain lots of experience on lots of skills on how to become a quality manager, not a test manager, because we have other certifications, test managers. Some people ask about the cost of the certification. I say we don't have a cost for certification. We have the cost of the training that leads to the certification. So very quick here in the last minute, if you go here, so This requires 3 days of training, and that's the range of prices if you're taking the courses online or you're taking them at a public setting or you're bringing them. In fact, the lower price, if you were to bring the training to your company to train a number of people, you are within the lower in the price. If you were to take the course as a classroom in some of the cities where we go, it's that price. So that's 3 days of training. This one is 4 days of training. It costs that much. This one an additional 3 days of training. So a total of 10 days of training to get to the master level. Now, if you go to the Agile certification here, that's also 3 days of training here, costing anywhere in that range. Now the master level Agile certification is another 3 days, costing the same thing. So total of 6 days of training to finish the certification. The mobile testing certification requires you to finish 4 days of training at this price range. Now the certified software test lead is 4 days of training as well. And guess what? 3 of them are required. 1 is elective. We let you take whatever course you want. That helps you become a good software test lead. Once you finish that, the next one is the test manager certification practitioner level, which another 3 days of training on top of the 4 days here. So it's a prerequisite, keep that in mind. So you cannot just go to become a certified test manager practitioner level, because the prerequisite for this is you are a software test lead certified. And then the test management master level requires another 3 days of training on top of the practitioner level. So again, it's a total of 10 days of training to get to the certified test manager master level. You become a test lead first, then test manager practitioner level, and then test manager master level. The last one here, this is a test automation specialist. It is 4 days of training, and this is the architect. It takes another 4 days on top of the 4 days here, so a total of 8 days of training to become a certified software test automation architect. The last certification, the quality manager, requires you to complete 10 days of training. None of the training you've taken here can apply to this one, because that has its own body of knowledge which is very different from all others. If people are asking about recertification, yes, like any other professional certification, after 3 years all the IIST certifications need to be renewed. You can renew a certification by taking certain number of units. Those units do not have to be from IIST, but here is something very important. All the units you take towards renewing a given certification can be used to pursue a higher level certification. Very quick here, if you finish the certification and you get, then in order to renew it, you have to take 3 other units, and that would cost you that much. Well, guess what? Those 3 other units could be 3 of them, because remember, in order to take the practitioner level, you have to take 4 units. Okay, so you can take 3 units to renew this one, plus 1 more unit, you gain that one. With the same token, once you get that one, you take 3 more courses that help you achieve this one and at the same time maintain this one. Or you can actually go in a totally different direction. Many of our customers take the first certification here and they decide to say, I want to become an Agile tester. So they go here. And here are 3 days of training to become a certified Agile software tester professional. Those 3 days of training will get you this certification, the practitioner level, plus it is going to be used to maintain the other certification, and so on. So you can jump from one certification to another. You don't have to go through the whole route. My apology that I went a few minutes beyond my time here, I will now, my apology also that I did not get to all your questions. As I understand it from Eric, because I know some of the slides, you don't have them, so Eric will post the recording of this webinar very soon. Eric, please go ahead. Thank you so much for everyone for joining me.
Thank you, Dr. Hanna, for your time today, and I want to thank everyone for joining us for today's free webinar sponsored by IIST, the leaders in education-based certifications and training. For more information on how IIST can help you or your organization, please visit testinginstitute.com. You can follow IIST on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube to find out more information about IIST news, events, and promotions. Thank you all again for joining us today, and have a great day. Thank you, Dr. Hanna.
Thank you, Eric.